If you have ever been fascinated by the epic dinosaurs in the Jurassic Park movies, you might wish that someone could bring them back to Earth, those giant and intriguing creatures that have always captivated humans regardless of the generation. Regrettably, they are considered extinct in the Jurassic Park film series. However, humans have managed to resurrect the dinosaurs thanks to the remaining DNA samples found in fossilized specimens. In reality, there is a similar technology that raises hope for reviving all the extinct species on Earth. So, what is the reality behind this? Let's find out in today's video. Do you believe that up to 90% of the species that once lived on Earth are completely extinct? That's the figure provided by scientists. However, in reality, extinction is not always permanent as we tend to think. Humans are working to bring these species back into nature for various profound reasons. First, let's talk about one of the long-extinct animals that have been rumored for a long time, the mammoth. Perhaps even our ancestors knew little about it because this species went extinct over 4,000 years ago when humans were still wearing fur in fossilized caves. A mature mammoth was discovered, revealing that it had a height of nearly 4 meters. Its distinctive features were its thick fur and long, curved ivory tusks. They were widely distributed in northern Europe, spanning across the entire territory of Russia and the northern regions of North America. These were the tundra regions around the North Pole, with short grasses growing beneath the permafrost. At that time, Earth was experiencing an ice age, and everywhere was covered in a cold climate. However, around 4,000 years ago, the sun heated up, causing the polar ice to melt. This melting released a large amount of carbon into the atmosphere, poisoning many animals, including the mammoths. Some also believe that overhunting by prehistoric humans played a role in their extinction because their fur was incredibly warm, helping them withstand the cold, and their tusks were used as tools and weapons. But regardless of the cause, the mammoth eventually disappeared from Earth in 1650 BCE. During this time, ancient Egyptian civilization was thriving. Therefore, compared to many other extinct species like dinosaurs that disappeared tens of millions of years ago, the mammoth is relatively recent. Recently, a private company in Texas, USA called Colossal, has proposed ambitious projects to resurrect all the extinct species on Earth, starting with the mammoth. So, how do they plan to do this? First, they aim to find a hybrid species between the common elephant and the mammoth that still exists today. Although their DNA contains only a small percentage of mammoth DNA, it's better than nothing. Then, they need to extract a small percentage of this DNA and insert it into the egg of an Asian elephant, a closely related species. Afterward, they can implant it into the body of an African elephant to carry the pregnancy. Despite ethical concerns about hybridizing species, this company hopes to create a true mammoth. In 2017, the second extinct animal to focus on for resurrection research was the Tasmanian tiger. Its former habitat was the island of Tasmania in present-day Australia and the Australian mainland as well as New Caledonia Island. As you may know, Australia is a place with unique and peculiar animals not found anywhere else in the world, such as kangaroos, koalas, platypuses, and the Tasmanian tiger. It was called the Tasmanian Tiger because of the stripes on its hindquarters and tail. However, its shape resembled a dog more than anything else. Most Australian marsupials have pouches, and the Tasmanian tiger was no exception. It was a carnivorous marsupial that hunted at night, making it difficult for humans to observe. But it began to be hunted aggressively in the early 19th century when European settlers arrived. At that time, Australian farmers believed a dog-like creature was attacking their livestock at night. They immediately identified the Tasmanian tiger as the culprit, leading to a widespread slaughter using weapons like guns, poison, and traps. In just 70 years, this species was almost entirely wiped out. The last known Tasmanian tiger died in 1936 in a zoo on Tasmania Island, Australia. However, its disappearance wasn't just extinction, the entire ecosystem was affected. With the Tasmanian tiger gone, herbivorous animals were no longer threatened, and their populations exploded. This led to overgrazing, turning lush green pastures into deserts. This ecological imbalance also contributed to the extinction of many other species. It's estimated that over the past century, 35% of Australia's mammal species have gone extinct. Australian scientists have joined forces with Colossal to try to resurrect this species. Fortunately, they still have preserved Tasmanian tiger embryos from 2018. An Australian scientist decoded the genetic sequence of this species from a 108-year-old fetal sample. Then, they attempted to insert this genetic code into embryos of a closely related marsupial called the numbat. If successful, the next generations of Tasmanian tigers could be resurrected and reintroduced to Tasmania Island to restore the ecosystem. Again, a U.S. company, Colossal, is mentioned in the context of the next animal resurrection project, which is focused on the dodo bird. This is an emblematic case of rapid and unexpected extinction. On the island of Mauritius in the Indian Ocean, there was a world completely separated from the outside world. It was home to a large flightless bird with a plump body and a round beak, living a peaceful life. Later, scientists named them the dodo bird. Mauritius was practically free from predators that could threaten the dodo bird for millions of years, which is why they evolved into large, slow birds. Although they couldn't fly, they didn't run fast like ostriches. However, this characteristic became a fatal weakness, making them unable to escape human hunting. The first Dutch sailors who set foot on Mauritius in 1598 encountered a strange bird that they had never seen anywhere else in the world, the dodo. It was an exclusive species of the island. The dodo bird was practically defenseless against humans. The sailors didn't see it as a rare bird but as a source of food for their long sea voyages. Due to its size and slowness, they were easily trapped and killed to provide food for the sailors. A few dodo birds were taken to Europe and displayed in zoos due to their strange appearance, but they quickly died because they couldn't adapt to the foreign conditions. The last known living dodo bird was recorded in 1662. This means that it took humans just 64 years to completely wipe out a species from the earth. However, its disappearance is not just extinction, it also had a profound impact on the ecological environment. When a top predator like the dodo disappears, herbivorous animals are no longer under threat, and their populations surge. This rapid imbalance in the ecosystem can lead to severe environmental problems that ultimately affect human life. In 2022, a female biologist named Beth Sapphire announced that she had fully decoded the genetic sequence of the dodo bird. She was invited by Colossal to lead the resurrection project for this unique bird. Thanks to this genetic sequence, they have identified the closest living relatives of the dodo that still exist today. These are the Nicobar pigeons. The challenge now is finding a way to introduce dodo genes into the embryos of these pigeons and help them develop while surviving after birth. However, the majority of genetic cloning and modification technology focuses on mammals. Sapphire and her team acknowledge that they will need to be creative in their approach. They haven't yet determined which species to introduce the dodo genes into, and even if they succeed, there's no guarantee that the resulting creatures will precisely resemble the dodos that once roamed Mauritius. The idea of resurrecting extinct species has sparked both support and opposition. Supporters argue that bringing back extinct species is not only a humanitarian endeavor but also crucial for restoring ecological balance, as seen in the case of the Tasmanian tiger. The loss of a single species in the food chain can lead to unpredictable consequences, impacting entire ecosystems and, ultimately, human life. On the other hand, critics point out the enormous financial cost of these projects, which can run into billions of dollars. Furthermore, there's no certainty about the success of these efforts or whether the resurrected animals will be able to survive in the wild. Introducing genes from extinct species into related living species could potentially lead to genetic defects or ecological disruptions. The debate over resurrecting extinct species raises complex ethical, environmental, and practical questions. While it's a noble endeavor to try to right some of the wrongs humans have inflicted on nature, it also poses significant challenges and uncertainties. In the end, there's no easy answer to the question of whether we should bring back species that have disappeared from our world. Thank you for watching this video. Please feel free to share your thoughts on the resurrection of extinct species in the comments below. We appreciate your support and look forward to seeing you in our future videos. Goodbye, and until next time.